Hello and welcome back to the TomFM channel. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm looking forward to today's transfer special at the start of Season 7 of the Lincoln Loco 3. The aim of today's episode is, of course, to try and build a team capable of doing better than the 13th place we finished last season in La Liga 2, the second tier of Spanish football, and try and push towards those playoff places to try and win a place in the top tier of Spanish football, La Liga. Of course, it is the start of a new season, so we'd massively appreciate it if you could drop a like on today's video. That would be huge. And also subscribe to the channel as well. I've looked at my analytics and apparently 40% of you aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do press that button down below to subscribe and never miss an upload. So you join me, it's the 30th of June 2026, a little later into summer than we usually start these transfer specials. Right now, players are just about to leave the clubs at the end of their contract, and a few of the players are leaving to join other clubs. We know that Tomic was going to another club because we let him go to another club because we didn't really want him here anymore. We decided that he wasn't going to be the best player for us next season, so he's happy to leave the club. The one that is annoying though, of course, is Juan Diaz. We tried to get him on a new contract, he kept rejecting new contracts with us, and instead he is joining Raul Vallecano, which is very frustrating because he arguably was our best player in the squad. So I have to try and obviously do something without him. He's a perfectionist as well, which is even worse because perfectionist is one of the best personalities you can have in the game. So we're losing a real talent in Juan Diaz. But of course, we could try and buy him back in the future if we do well. There's also a player joining, Gonzalez. We spoke about him very briefly at the end of last episode, but he's a young keeper that we're bringing into the club. We saw him available on a free transfer very early on in the season, and we thought, let's try and get him in for next season because he is very good. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, will be perfect backup to our current keeper, Dekene, so I think he'll be a great addition to the squad. In terms of ins as well, there are 2 more players who have already agreed to join the club, but they're not new players because they're returning on loan again. The first one is Kahinde. He has agreed a new loan deal with us for the next season, so he's back with us again, which is fantastic because Kahinde is probably one of the best players that we've got, so I'm very excited to bring Kahinde back. Alongside him, right back, Julio Garcia is coming back for another season as well. I said I wanted both Dio Garcia and Kahinde back, and they've both agreed to contracts. We are paying a fair bit of money for Dio Garcia, £56,000 to be precise, which is a lot of money, but I think he's worth it. Or was that this season? We might be paying more for him this coming season. I'm not entirely sure, but that's the minimum, at least 56,000. That could go up. So for me, I think those 2 players in on loan are as good as new signings, in my opinion, because they are just so good and they will help our squad massively. So as we keep clicking continue, we'll get through to the 1st of July. The new keeper will join us, Tomic and Diaz will leave, and then we can assess the squad. So Tomic has gone. See you later. Thank you for your hard work at the club. We will miss you, but not so much because you weren't that good for us anymore. The one we will miss, though, of course, is Juan Diaz. The snake that is Juan Diaz kept rejecting contracts with us and signed with Raul Vallecano instead. I can't believe it, but you know, you were good while you lasted. That's all I'll say. Good while you lasted. Welcome though, Marty Gonzalez, the new keeper. He's finally in here, and again, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. Not quite as good as Dekene, but he's only 18 years old, so he does have that potential to develop. So as you can see, the first team is looking a little slim right now, but we are going to promote some players from the under-19/B team to hopefully bolster this squad a little bit. Now, before we promote these players, there are a couple of them that we need to rename from the latest youth intake. If you're a member of the Patreon, one of the perks on there is to have some players renamed after you from youth intakes. So, of course, if you want to have a player named after you, link down below to the Patreon where you can sign up and get players named after you. Scott Ratcliffe, a young right back who looks particularly good, is now going to be renamed Nicholas Pardo. So hopefully Nicholas can develop nicely and become a starting right back for us in the future. We've got a young centre back in Danny Burt. He is also going to be renamed to Yusuf Gazillucci. He's got a brother in the squad already, Harry Gazillucci. So hopefully the Gazillucci brothers will combine one day and become the starting centre-back pair or something like that. Doesn't quite make sense because Harry is a right-back or a left-back, so he's not going to be a centre-back, but in the back line at least. And the best player to come through the youth intake last time out was Ben Draper, a 3-star current ability striker already at 16 years old. He looks like he's going to be insane in the future. Lazy number 9, JD Meakin, he was the first person to get there, so Ben Draper is now known as JD Meakin. Hopefully Meeks can score plenty of goals for us. That would be absolutely fantastic. I'm expecting you to be the successor to Raul Jr. So we've renamed those players. They are going to be excellent additions to the squad, and there are a few of them that are going to get promoted. First player I want to promote is Robbo, because we are looking to use a CDM next season, and Robbo is probably the best CDM we've actually got, I would say. So he's going to get promoted to the first team. Alongside Robbo, obviously JD Meakin has to be promoted as well as Giovanni Casado, who was in the first team but was on loan last season. So for the sake of simplicity, he was moved to the under-19s for now, but we can get him back into the first team to replace Juan Diaz. I also want to promote 16-year-old Josho as well, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. He could be a very good player for us as well in the first team. And then to add a bit more cover in the back line as well, I think Jez Finley deserves another chance in the first team. And right down here as well, Harry Gazillucci's current ability might not be up there yet, but he's got some decent potential, and I think he could be useful backups on either wing-back position. So Harry Gazillucci also promoted. So what that means is we've got 23 people in the first team now. 2 of them are under the age of 18, so Joshua and Meeks don't need to be registered, but everyone else does. So that's 21 players to be registered, and that is too many because we need to bring some additions into the squad. So to also make some money, but also to free up some space, some players have got to leave, and I've earmarked 2 players. The first is Josh Thompson. He started off last season brilliantly, getting 3 assists in 1 game, but after that he didn't really do much at all. I mean, he didn't play that many times either, but he only got 3 assists in the whole season. That was in the first game, basically. Yes, he did play well when he did play, but his potential is waning, his current ability is not really going up, and I feel like he's just taking up a space that we don't need, basically. So Josh Thompson, we're going to try and sell him. He's got a minimum fee release clause of £500,000, so we'll offer him out for that, but probably have to bring it down at some point. The other player that I'm going to let go, not that I want to let them go, but might have to let them go, is Onino Jr., unfortunately. He's just not quite worked out. The potential's dropped, the current ability's dropped, and yes, he has scored some very important goals for us over the years. He's just not quite developed into the player that we want. So Tyson, I do apologise. We'll get you another regen at some point soon, but Onino just never worked out. So very aware that we are about 10 minutes into today's episode, and we haven't really done a lot of transfer stuff yet. We've offered a few players out who probably won't get bought anytime soon. It might take a little while for them to actually have some bids come through. We need to look to sign some players. So now that all the contracts have expired and we have done a fair bit of scouting on some players, I think the best thing to do is probably offer some trials out to some of the best players that our scouts have found. However, it would be unwise just to offer them all randomly, so I think we should whittle it down to, first of all, defensive midfielders, because we should probably do with 1 or 2 of those guys coming into the squad. As you can see, we've not got many of these guys scouted out. We'll try and get the best 5 in there. Transfer, offer a trial for 4 weeks. We'll also look at some centre mids as well. We could always do with an extra centre mid or 2. So I think what we'll do again is probably offer the trials for the best ones there. And then we can always do with a little bit more at centre back as well. So let's have a look at centre backs and search for the best, get the best few players in on trial as well. So plenty of these players are now arriving in on trial, and a few of them look like they could be okay, particularly with the potential. I mean, 3-star... There's some players about 2-star, some about 3-star. I think the 3-star ones are the ones we need to be looking at a minimum. They are here for a few weeks though, so we've got a little while to evaluate them. Some bids did come in for Josh Thompson, but they're not particularly big bids, I must say. 15.5 and 20k. I feel like we need to get a bit more for him than that. I mean, they're not good enough. What we also need to do is look for players interested in coming to us on loan. So if we get rid of that transfer bit and get the loan tick done, right, who wants to come to us on loan? By looks of things, not all that many that we've got scouted out. We should probably do a bit more scouting on some of these guys right now. We've got loads of players who actually want to come to us on loan, but we haven't got scouted out yet. So let's get some scout reports done on these guys ASAP. And then whilst we're trying to get people in on loan, we could also look at Betis as well. Of course, they're our affiliate club, our parent club. So let's get a team report for the under-19s first and foremost from Saul. Yes, please. And then go to the B team and get a team report from the B team, also from Saul. We've got the scout report in for the under-19s, but apparently every single player is unavailable, which is a little bit annoying. There are some decent players in there. I quite like this Andreas guy. He'd be great to bring in as a left back, but apparently if we go make an offer, he's just not available for loan, which is annoying. How much is he to buy? 3.5 million. Okay, we can't buy him either. Hopefully there'll be a bit more in the B team, because that might be a bit more fruitful for us. Although historically, we've never really been able to get many players in on loan from Betis. The B team report is here, and actually there are some players listed for loan, these guys at the top, and actually there's some decent ones. We could be in here, you know. We could always do with a left back, and this guy appears to be a left back. Actually, he's more of a left wing back and a left midfielder than an actual left back, but we could always use him because we do have some formations which do give us the option of playing with a left wing back. So I think we try and get this guy. Current ability is a little sketchy right now, but we don't have to pay anything to bring him in because Betis are our affiliate club. So I'm more than happy to just get him in, and if we don't use him, we don't use him. Who else is here then? A right back slash centre. Oh, he's more of a CDM. Oh, I tell you what, we could save a lot of money if we get this guy in as a CDM. This could be very good. You know, transfer, make an offer, loan offer. Again, for free. Let's try and get him in. There's a good chance these guys might reject us, so we could go in for a second time and make them important players rather than just regular starters. That could be an option too. This guy looks to be the best guy. Victor Porras is an attacking midfielder as opposed to a centre mid, but can play centre mid too apparently. Does look quite good. Let's make an offer. And let's actually make him, let's say, star player for him, because he might be a star player. Not so fussed about a right winger. We've got a few of those. Another right winger there. That's another CDM slash midfielder. Oh, he's a centre mid. Carolero. I mean, why not? I mean, if we can, we may as well try and get some of these players in. So there's 4 players bid on already. Fingers crossed they come back, accept them all, and they all actually join us, because that would be very, very good. Although remember, Tom, let's not get too carried away, because we only have a limited number of spaces in the squad. 23 players over the age of 18 can be in the squad. So let's not get too carried away. The thing is, these guys would just be great though, because we already are very, very tight on our wage budget. If we can get these guys in for free, it makes it so much easier for us, as again, still no one wants Josh Thompson. We might just have to accept the really low price for him. Although a club do want, or Scott Marshall, not Josh Thompson. Scott Marshall's staying with us because he's a very, very good player. Josh Thompson, I think it might have to be just transfer offer to clubs for an unspecified fee, transfer list him and just take the biggest one, I think. Speaking of the finances, we are now £1.2 million in the red. Last month we paid loads in bonuses, apparently. Not quite sure what those bonuses are, because for most players' contracts I take bonuses out to avoid things like this, but apparently we paid out quite a bit. Projection-wise, it's not looking so good because, of course, our contract and wage expenditure keeps going up. It's not quite staying in line with the money that we're making from TV revenue, so we're still not looking great. And, of course, this is why we need to try and get as many players in on loan as possible on a cheap deal, because it helps us massively financially. In fact, what I might do is make a board request right now. Networking. Let's look for a senior affiliate, and they'll get back to me and let me know if we're going to have one. They have accepted the senior affiliate thing though, which is good. So hopefully they'll come back and they'll find someone decent. Hopefully Barcelona. Offers have been made for Josh Thompson. It's £15,000 and 20,000. I think we'll just have to accept these just to get him off the wage bill and free up a spot in our squad. So good news, Betis have accepted all of the bids for these players, which is fantastic. We're just now waiting for them to accept contracts with us. I'll be honest, I don't think we'll get all of them. I think we might only get one of them, maybe. I'm not sure which one, but I doubt all of them will accept to come to us. If they do, that's great, and that would be a very short episode, because then we have not a lot of space left in the squad. We have to actually move some players back to the B team to try and bring in some other ones, potentially, if that does happen. Athletic Bilbao want Raul Zabalago. Now, we thought bids for him might start to come in at some point. However, they are just far too low. Now, I'm willing to listen, because financially, we need to sell him, don't we? If you look at the finances again, minus £1.2 million. We need to sell him, but for more than £1.2 million, basically. We need a lot of money. He's got a minimum fee release clause of £6.5 million, and Athletic Bilbao, we know they've got cash. In fact, this skin tells me the finances of each club. They've got £74 million in the bank account right now. So I know they can spend the money. I feel like this could be a little cheaty. It's just this particular skin that I use just seems to want to tell me all the financial information of every single club. Neil Lennon, by the way, is manager of Athletic Bilbao. That's That's a bit of a weird one. But the point is, I know how much money they've got. So I'm going to try and push them up for as much as I can. Again, I'm going to say 6.25 million. You can give me all of these bonuses as well. Let's remove that and add in percentage of next sale, complete next sale, 50%. Lock that in. Let's suggest it without the fee. Or they've withdrawn it anyway. But Raul Zabalago, if a bid that's big enough comes in, we had a bid of £2 million come in for him at the end of January. We rejected that. But if something bigger than that £2 million comes in, I am going to be all ears. Apparently, we've enjoyed a small reputation boost over the past 12 months. Our reputation is still abysmal. Considering we are a second-tier team, you'd think we'd be up here somewhere with the other second-tier teams. No, if we can scroll all the way down, we can find ourselves pretty easily. There we are. If I get my head out of the way, you can see us up here, look. 1.5-star regional. Down here with 4th division sides. It's not ideal. So the reputation is very, very slow to increase. Unrealistically so, I think, in this game. I think if a team like Lincoln Red Imps moved from Gibraltar to Spain and had, 2 promotions in like 4 or 5 years, I think their reputation would be a lot higher. So for me, in the game, reputation is not good enough. It needs to be a bit more adaptable and fluid, in my opinion. We've just got the news coming through saying we're giving the news has just come through saying we're going to get £5 million for La Liga TV rights over the next season. That might change things in the finances because that projection may well not have had that £5 million added in there because it might not think we're going to get it. Projection-wise now, it's better than it was. It's still all in the red, so we still need to sell someone, unfortunately. But given that player sales aren't really happening right now, no one's that interested in any of our players for big money. It's been more than nearly 2 weeks, actually, since we brought in those players on trial. Let's see if anyone's actually any good. So if we sort this by current ability, the best guy that came through apparently is this guy, Julio Iglesias, which just makes you think of Enrique Iglesias. Midfielder, looks pretty decent across the board, 26, balanced personality. It's not quite the best personality trait there, but could be an option for us. I think the better option might be actually to look down at the bottom, see who's not good, which is these guys. So let's get rid of these guys because they are not going to sign for us at all. There's this guy here who's got 5-star potential. Thomas Hernandez is 20 years old, is a right winger / centre back / right back. A bit confused about that, but he's very physical, technically a bit rubbish, but physically and mentally very good. Could I be tempted to sign him? Potentially. I think we'll keep him on trial for a while because I'm hesitant to offer him a contract with that minimum contract price of £1,400 per week. That is too much money really for us as a club. And it would be a bit of a risk giving him that contract as well. In terms of his potential, it says La Liga 2 potential. So potential only for this division, not La Liga above us. I'll be honest, none of these players are really jumping out at me just yet. I'll ignore them for now. We might come back for 1 or 2 of them later on, but I'll be honest, I'm not that impressed. What I might do is look for players with expired contracts and then search it on world reputation, because that's usually a bit of an idea as to who could be interested in signing for you. Let's actually select players who are interested in a transfer as well. Fairly good. There's Robbie Brady, apparently, who was he a Tottenham player at one point, Robbie Brady. Let's change to OK instead. 53 players there, apparently. Again, let's filter it by positions. We want sort of that back spine of the squad, although that's looking for players who can play, or not in every position, just players in those positions. Okay, that's all right. And let's offer all these guys a trial. Although, unfortunately, none of them are looking too good so far after they've arrived here on trial. No one's jumping out. It's getting harder and harder each year to find players who are good to come in on trial. This guy with 3, maybe 3.5 stars of current ability, Emmanuel Garcia, used to play for Pontevedra, Cordoba, Osasuna. He could be okay. Centre mid, 30 years old, could actually be decent as a tutor as well. He could be the promising one there. If I'm honest with you though, it's looking more and more likely that we do need to be relying on players coming in on loan. Speaking of the loan players, they are taking their time to decide if they want to join us or not. They're still waiting on contracts, which is a little annoying because they are taking their time with it, and we are just about to come back for pre-season according to the calendar up here. So ideally, they need to get here as quick as possible so they can start training with us. So the pre-season meeting, let's welcome the squad back. Let's say welcome back. I think we can avoid relegation this season, and they think that's acceptable, okay. We're going to give a good account of ourselves in the Copa del Rey this season as well. They seem pretty pleased by that, so that's a good reaction to have. Do I want to make any promises? No, because all the promises are pretty rubbish, I think. We need to change these promises a little bit. I don't know what they change them to. That needs to do a bit of thinking. Let me know in the comment section, actually, what promises you'd like to see or you'd like to make as a manager, because that would be quite interesting to have a discussion about. But for me, I don't want to make any promises at all this season. So code of conduct has not changed at all. They're all happy with that. So decent. The first one of those Betis players is rejecting us. Juan Ramon Garrado. I think he was the CDM. Out of all the players, he's the one that I actually quite wanted. I'm going to make an offer again, but make him a star player. I want to see if he accepts that. Josh Thompson, though, is leaving the club for £15,000 with 30% of profit from future sale in there as well. So goodbye, Josh Thompson. It was great having you, but you weren't good enough. Another Betis player has rejected us. Carlos. Was he the very, very good one? The scout reports have gone now because it's only stays there very shortly. He might have been the one we went for the star player for, though, I think. I can't quite remember, which is a bit annoying. Let's just get another quick team report on them, just so we can get those star ratings back, so we can just see how good our scout rated them at. But at least one Betis player wants to join us. Gerardo Zarate, again, we've got he was the rubbish one, the worst one of the lot, basically. But he is the player maybe we need the most in that left wing-back role. So at least we've got one of them coming in, which is good. One more to come back to us to say yes or no. Now that scout report's come through, though, who rejected us? Was it this guy, Carlos? Carlos was the not the very best one. I think the very best one, we're still waiting on them. This was the very best one, I think. Victor Porras. Yes, he was. We offered him a star player role and he rejected us. I'm a little bit confused as to why he rejected us, because Betis Deportivo, the B team, are playing him a division below us. Surely they want to play in the highest division possible. Obviously, we're not getting into the Betis first team, so why not come and play for us? I don't get it. So these three rejected us, which isn't so good. Is anyone else available that we might want? Diego, not really in the position that we want. This Martinez guy, not really in a position that we want. Caballero can play centre mid. We could look to try and just bring him in, transfer, make an offer, on loan, regular stuff. I mean, let's try and do it at least. And then Anthony is there as well, who we had last season, who didn't play all that much. Well, 32 games, played quite a lot to him, but not brilliantly, so I'm not too fussed about getting him back. So apparently we are facing a contract stalemate with Dekene. He's got 12 months left on his contract. So ideally, we do need to offer him a new one before we lose him. He's very, very good, has tons of potential as well. So I think we need to offer him a new deal. So important player is fine by me because he is a very important player to us. He wants 1.5k per year on a 3-year deal. Mate, we love you. He's just giving us what we want, basically. Can we make it a 4-year deal? Let's do 4 years. Top division wage rise can go. Unused substitute fee can stay because he's not going to be on the bench at all, basically. Wage after international appearances. It's quite likely he will become the goalkeeper of Mali. So I'd rather, if I can offer him his contract again, get that out of there, basically. Minimum fee release clause, he says 2 points. I want to put this up to like 10 and lock that in. Relegation can be 1.1. We're not going to get relegated, he says. I mean, we'll try not to get relegated. Let's suggest that to him then. He just says 3 years instead. Okay, let's put this up to 12.5 million instead. And then three-year deal is fine. He's happy with that. Good. A good contract. He was my player of the season last year, Dekene, so hopefully he stays with us for a long time. Our former keeper, Anthony Ward, who we get 50% of his next transfer fee from when he gets sold by Valencia. Hopefully he does get sold by Valencia at some point. He did start making first team appearances last season for Valencia, so he is a La Liga qualified keeper now. So hopefully for Valencia he keeps playing well, and then Barcelona buy him for 100 million and we get 50 million. That'd be the best bit. I think he's just signed a new contract as well, because that's a 4-year deal he's got there now, and we sold him 2 years ago, so that is, he must have a new contract in place. So Valencia clearly like him. He will go up in value, and hopefully at some point they sell him. Fingers crossed. Caballero, he rejected us once from Betis. We put another bid in for him again, and he's rejected us another time to go on loan to a team in Romania. It's always Romania. Every time we lose out on a player, it's because they're going to Romania instead. And that's the third time it's happened now. I don't know what Romania's got that we in Gibraltar don't have, but I take offence to it now. The issue at this level, or the issue with our scouts in general, we're only allowed 2 scouts, is that they are just so slow. We've got nothing yet on these loan players that we've been trying to get scouted out for a week or so. So I'm tempted to go in blind on some of them. I mean, this guy from Real Madrid, all right, he looks very, very good. Hernandez, right back, centre mid. How much do they want for him though? Only 20. Oh, they want to pay 80% of his wages for 10,000. We can only pay 20%. Can we lock those in and just say we'll pay you 20%, and they want 34? We can't get him. Might just be worth waiting a little longer on those scout reports. It just takes so long at this level. Ideally, we just get a new affiliate club very, very shortly. It can't be too long before the ball come back to us with the actual answer for the affiliate club. Oh, you hate to see it. The board have come back with that affiliate club, senior affiliate, and they've come back and said that after an extensive search, there's no suitable club. I mean, come on. At least get us Barcelona B. You know, that's all we need. Just a link with Barcelona B, get their best players in, we'll get promoted. That's annoyed me, actually. That has rather annoyed me that they just can't find anyone. Not even internationally. You know, I mean, I assume they're just looking in Spain, but even internationally, they don't want to get anyone as another Betis player rejects us. I mean, I think that's all the Betis players now rejecting us. Can we confirm that on the ins? Yep, they've all rejected us. What we might be doing instead then is sign 1 or 2 of these players on trial that we've got right now. Emmanuel Garcia does look okay. He's an experienced midfielder. Personality is only balanced, which isn't so good, but can play CDM and centre mids relatively well, although only the 5th best centre mid we've got, according to the comparison. So that might be a waste of money. Although the top 2 centre mids we've got are Cahinde and Dio Garcia, who are our centre back and right back. So actually, based on that logic, he's our 3rd best centre mid, isn't he? So maybe we do just bring him in. How good is Julio Iglesias? He's more of a playmaker. We could do with a playmaker. What is Garcia? Garcia is more of just a centre mid, or in fact, I think Garcia is probably better. Iglesias, sorry, is better, I think, because he can play a bit more in those creative roles. So let's offer him a contract. Julio Iglesias, squad player. Let's get rid of his preference to where he wants to play and what role he wants to play. That's fine. We've got to offer him that £1,400 per week at a minimum. Let's give him a 1-year deal. See if he impresses in this 1-year deal. Unused substitute fee can be removed. The rest of it can stay the same. He comes back, wants 1.5k per week, and a little bit more in each area, which is, if we bring down appearance fee to 300, assist up to 250 actually, suggests he just wants a little bit more money per week. Come on, lad. Accept the 1.4k per week. Come on. Don't be a Scrooge here. He's happy. Okay, let's get that done. Carlos Dominguez as a centre-back. We could do with another centre-back. We've got Cahinde, obviously. Cesar as well. Cipollina can play there too, apparently, but he's more of a centre-mid. So actually, this guy might be quite good to get in just as a centre-back. His heading's not brilliant. I'll admit that for sure. But everything else looks okay to me. So I think we'll offer him a contract. I think basically they've been on trial long enough. The coaches know enough about these players for me to make an informed decision that these guys will be decent additions to the squad. Again, we have to give them that 1.4k per week on an 11-month deal. Unused substitute fee can get in the bin. He wants a bit more, 1.9k per week. We can offer 1.4 at the most, apparently, judging by our wage bill and things like that. So unless we get him down, we might struggle to sign him, actually. We're getting there slowly. 1.4, come on. He's agreed to that. Okay, we've got him in. So those 2 players are joining. They're not world beaters, obviously, but they are good enough to make an impact. Raul Jr. has picked up a knock for 5 to 7 weeks. That might give JD Meeks. He might give him the chance to impress. He's also injured, only for 5 to 8 days though, so that's okay. It might be a big risk. It might be a big risk because this could really upset the player. But I'm looking at the overall balance, which has suddenly gone to minus 800,000. We've suddenly made like £400,000. What's that on? In TV revenue. Oh, TV revenue. Have we had some friendlies on TV, have we? No, we haven't. It's just the general £5 million that we get. It's coming in slowly, so that's quite nice. What I was going to say though, obviously, overall balance isn't looking great. Projections not looking great either, which have changed again. He might get quite cross about it because we're going to be offering him out to clubs. But Raul Zabalago, we know clubs want him. We know that clubs are routinely interested in him. So let's offer him out. We know that we're not going to get £6.5 million. That's not going to happen, basically. So, how about 3 million? 3 million, add in percentage of next sale, 50%, lock it in. Transfer listing, offer to clubs. Let's just see if anyone bids for him. Because if they do, that would be fantastic. Although apparently, no one wants him. Which isn't great. He's happy to move though. His preferred choice would be Almeria, who are in our division. So that's a bit annoying. The wage demands are in excess. These are clubs below us though. These aren't clubs above us. That's a bit annoying. This has backfired slightly. Clubs in our division want him, but no one else does. Let's do it again, but let's try £2 million. Offer to clubs. See what they say. Because surely someone wanting for 2 million, you'd think, as Carlos Dominguez, the guy we offered a contract to on a free deal, he's coming into the club. You love to see that. The coaches said 3-star, and he is 3-star. It does say 4.5 stars of potential too, but he's 25. He's not reaching that. He's a 3-star player, so that seems like a decent transfer, I think. Still no offers for Raul Zabalago. I feel like we've made a bit of a mistake here now. I'll tell you what we should do. Unspecified. Transfer listing. Just see who bids for him. Unspecified offers. Oh, and the offers coming in are absolutely terrible. They're awful. Reject all of them. We don't want to sell him for that little, basically. Okay. That backfired. That was not good. Raul Zabalago, transfer status is no longer transfer listed. That was a big mistake. Makes me regret not selling him in January for that £2 million. But at the time, I was crossed that Juan Diaz decided to leave the club, and I thought Raul Zabalago was going to be the man to take us forward this season. It didn't really... I don't know. Looks like, though, we are getting some players scouted out, which is good, though. The thing is, we've got no spare money now, really. We are very tight on money, which is why we need to sell Zabalago, or just someone. I mean, who is wanted in our squad? If we sort it by info, loan wanted, transfer wanted, loan wanted. I mean, no one's really wanted for big money. Ominio Jr.'s not gone yet. We're not going to sell him for a lot of money, though, but maybe something. Players we're starting to get information about on loan, sort by ability. Again, those Real Madrid guys are really good. They're just really expensive. Diego. Have we had Diego before? Am I making this up? No, we haven't had Diego before. He's a left-back / centre-back. We could use him. Make an offer. How much do they want per week? 100%. We can only offer 50%. If we lock that in, suggest that they want... I think we can afford that. 6k per month. 60 grand a year or so. Let's accept that demand. Let's see if Diego wants to join us. I mean, it doesn't quite make sense because Zarate is our left back. We're going to try and use... He's not actually that good, is he, at all, Zarate? He's not even that good at all. That's a bit annoying. I feel like I didn't check that out properly, did I, when he actually joined the club, which is a bit annoying. Diego's offer, that has been accepted, which is good. No offers for Onino, though, because no one wants him, unfortunately. Onino might have to go to the B team this season. But Iglesias is joining us, that centre midfielder we're getting on a free transfer. Friendlies, though, are going quite well, using our 4-3-3 from the other year. This is the formation that we got promoted with from the division below us. And then last season we switched it up to a flat back 5, didn't we? I think we go back to this season. That's my plan, at least. That's what I'm planning for this season, going back to this formation. And in the friendlies so far, it is working relatively nicely. 1-1 draw with Betis. We lost 1-0 to Numancia, which is a bit annoying, but the other games have been wins so far. If we can do well against Marbella and Getafe, that would be good, as Diego is set to sign for us on loan. Is this sensible, Tom? Let's find out by pressing accept. Let's find out by pressing accept. It could be, you know. It could be. At the very worst, it strengthens that back line, and he's 4-star current ability. He looks very good. How good is he at centre-back? 3.5. Okay. I think he'll be a centre-back for Diego this season. Him and Gahinde in that back line. In fact, our whole back line is loan players now, isn't it? Our first choice back line is all loan players. There'll be Dio Garcia on the right. We'll have Gahinde on the right of the middle. We'll have Diego there as well. And then on the left, we'll have... actually, Ethan Brito might be better to play there, to be fair. But Zarate can play there. Maybe Ethan Brito will start. I don't know yet. But we do have a backline of loan players. And we've got better backups in that backline this season as well, actually. The players have had a year of development. Some new players have... I think that backline's very good, actually. I mean, I might think it's quite good. Let's check the season preview to see what the season preview and the experts think of our team. I mean, the experts still think we'll come 18th, and only 18th because they don't rank the B teams that are in here, because the B teams can't get promoted, so they just don't rank them. But I think last season we were 500 to 1. This season, 150 to 1. So we're getting better. We're getting closer. Last season we came 13th, which I think was pretty reasonable given our circumstances. If we can just get in the top half this season, I think that'll be a good bit of progress. Teams that were promoted though, Albacete, Extremen, I can't pronounce that, and then Castellon as well, and Celta Vigo B. They've been promoted. Alves, Elche, and Real Sporting Gijón. Ooh. We've got a rivalry with Real Sporting Gijón, mostly because we keep getting Lepetra in on loan and they keep recalling him every single time for no reason. So we don't like Gijón. So that's going to be a bit of a grudge match this season. I'm looking forward to playing against them. Oh, we've got to do the squad registration. Okay, let's do that. So 23 outfield players. Let's auto-select this. 18 years or older, they have to be registered. Oh, brilliantly. Jez Finley can't be... Oh, hang on a second. Who's been registered, who's not been registered? Can I see this, please? Why would it sort it out for me in a nice, logical order? Can I not? Okay. So O'Neill, we're not going to register him because we don't need him playing this season. He's going to move to a different squad. Jez Finley, get in, though. He is over 18. Does need to be registered. Josho and Meeks don't need to be registered. They're the only two that don't need to be registered. So, 21 outfield players there. Okay. That seems good. We can bring 2 more players in at most. Ideally, they'd be centre mids, I would say. I think that's the area we need to look at next. And this Hernandez guy from Real Madrid, he looked perfect, didn't he? He looked really good. Can play full-back, centre-back, and centre mid. Thing is, he was very expensive. Loan offer. We can only offer 10% on the wages. Suggests that they want 34 grand a week. That's £340,000 a year or so, give or take a little bit. Do I want to do that? I mean, yes, I would, but we just don't have the money. If I do that, projection-wise, we're going down and down and down, and it might damage us more in the long run. But if we use it and if he changes our midfield and gets us promoted though, or gets us close to promotion, or helps us. It's a difficult one to weigh up. There's still the prospect of selling someone for a few million, hopefully at some point. But of course, this guy might just reject us as well. He might reject us. I think we make the offer. He rejects us, nothing to lose. If he accepts us, that's when we make the decision. Actually, let's make the offer anyway. That was potentially really risky. Potentially very, very risky. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it all. Have we beaten Marbella in the friendly? Let's have a look at the news articles. We did beat them 1-0. So good, the formation's still working. Just spotted this guy, though, centre mid from Bilbao, available on loan. They want us to pay 60%. We can pay 30%. Suggest 6k. I mean, this is more affordable, isn't it? This guy's a lot more affordable than the Real Madrid guy, to the point where actually it might just make a lot more sense to get him in and not the Real Madrid guy. Saves us a lot of money. Getafe up next though in a friendly. If we win this sets us up well for the season, I think. 1-0 loss isn't too bad, to be fair. Getafe came 14th in La Liga last season, in the division above us, so that's not a bad result. And we had loads more shots too, which actually says a bit about our strikers and attackers maybe, but it shows we did well in that game. So I think there's a lot to be excited about this coming season, I think. I feel like with all the transfer specials we've done so far this series, I don't think any of them have been like mind-blowingly amazing. Speaking of mind-blowingly amazing though, Raul Zabalago, he could be mind-blowingly amazing. The thing with Raul is I know he's the only player in the squad we can sell for a lot of money. but he's also one of the best players in the squad, which is why he can be sold for a lot of money. But his contract comes to an end at the end of the season. Have we ruined things with him to the point where he doesn't want a new contract? He does want a new one. Okay. Club is a stepping stone. He wants a big wage rise and wants to improve attackers. Well, let's get rid of the big wage rise and let's get rid of the first team players. And actually, let's try and get rid of the stepping stone so we're not forced to sell him. He doesn't actually want any of those promises. Okay, we've got to put in there. Where is it? Stepping stone. Treat the club as a stepping stone. Okay, suggest that. He's happy with that. Okay, finalise that. He wants a lot of money. 3.4k per week. We can offer you 1.4, mate. Oh, this could get dangerous very quickly for Raul Zabalago. Well, we can't offer him a contract right now. We need to come into some money at some point. And that money might be setting a low budget here. Confirm that. Okay, so low bonuses for the players at the end of the season. They'll be a bit upset about that. As the guy from Bilbao is set to join us. I think we go for this guy over the Real Madrid guy just because he's a lot cheaper, this guy. But I think John might help our midfield out quite a bit. I'll accept that. Let's see how good he is. Please, tell me he's decent, please. He is very decent. 4.5 stars of current ability. I did think so, looking at his mentals. His mentals and physicals are very good. And where they matter, but technicals are decent too, actually. We've got a good player here. Has that changed our season preview at all? It's moved us up to 17th. We're not the actual worst rated team in this division now. That's very good. You know what? I am happy, actually. Looking at all of that, I think we should be happy with the team we've got. Yes, most of the team is bang average, but lots of potential in those bang average players, and they're all very young still. And some players are class. So I think we can be happy. What I'm going to do, though, is finish off today's episode there. I can't see any more transfers happening. We will reject the guy from Real Madrid. In fact, he may have even rejected us by now. On the inside, he's not rejected us yet, but I think he will do. And in fact, I'm going to reject him now because he's going to be too expensive. We could get this Betis guy in if he says yes, but he said no twice before. I think twice before. He'll probably say no a third time, so don't bank on this guy joining us. But I do think that is going to be it for all the transfers today. So next episode, I'm going to play a few games off camera to start the season off. I think we come back next time out for what will be probably quite a big game if we play Celta Vigo B, one of the newly promoted sides, and then A-Bar as well, a team that recently got relegated as well. So that'll be exciting. So thank you ever so much for watching today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have done, drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.